Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
All right. Welcome back to the Redfin Roundtable here on the Real Estate Debate. Mr. Credit here, your host. My co-host today, Dale Intrikin with Synergy One Lending and HomeLendingSanDiego.com. Our three agents in the studio from Redfin.com today are Jordan Clark, Willie Wilson, and Cherie Bray. We're going to talk about, it's that time of the year. If traditionally, you would say that this is that time where you start thinking about putting your home on the market, right? It seems like, June, July, everyone knows, historically speaking, these are the hottest times, the best times to sell your home. If you guys disagree with that, please let us know. But what I'd like to do is give some of these sellers a few tips, some things they can learn today from you and your experience at Redfin.com to get the most out of their home sale experience. Jordan?
Well, in response to that, depends upon your personal circumstances. When's the best time to sell?
Right.
Because if you say over the past 3 years, when was the best time to sell? It's today, because the market's appreciated, right, all the way. If you would have sold like a couple months ago, you would have got a few points less, percentage points less. So, it's all relative. But, for a seller, the first step to determine whether or not it's the right time to sell or not is to look at your bottom line. So how much are you going to net if you sell the property right now? So talk to a specialist, realtor specialist, and figure out what your property is currently worth. So at Redfin, we can do that for you, no obligation. We're always no obligation. We never want you to feel pressured whatsoever. We're just here to provide you information when you want it. So our listing specialist like Cherie can give you a specific number that gives you a good idea of approximately how much your property is worth right now. And then talk to your mortgage company, figure out what's the remaining amount that you owe on the property. And then with the help of the listing specialist, you can figure out all the other costs that you're going to incur. And at the end, you're going to figure out how much you're going to net.
So think about the net first.
Think about the net first. And then once you know that, also figure out, can you rent out the property? Is it beneficial to rent out the property right now? And can you go purchase what you want to purchase without having to sell? Because we want you to be the best off possible at Redfin. And so often owning real estate is a very lucrative venture long term. And so if you don't have to sell, 30 years ago, if you didn't have to sell your property to buy your second property, you'd be better off now if you had two properties, more than likely. Yeah. So it's something to always consider. Do you have to sell your property in order to buy your next one?
And if not, do a rental analysis.
Yeah.
See what you could get for it.
Exactly.
Makes sense, especially with rents being so high right now. Just a really good time to do that. Good stuff from Jordan. Cherie, you're our listing specialist today. You've got to have some tips for sellers out there. This is your world. This is what you're working every day.
Sure. So the next thing you kind of want to look at is when is the right time to sell? What time of the year? Spring has historically been the best time to sell. Redfin did their own case study on this, and they looked at over 7 million properties throughout the U.S. From 2010 to 2014, and they showed that 39% of homes that listed in the spring sold in 30 days or less, and 15% of those sold for over their asking price.
Wow.
So winter was a close runner-up, followed by summer and then fall. So spring is the best time to get your home on the market. So we're approaching the end of spring coming up here.
I know. It's like it's crazy, but we're in the thick of it, and the market's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Willie, for sellers, what do you think?
Yeah, so we have a tool called the home pricing tool, and it's basically a way to kind of just stick your toes in the water and get an idea of what your property's worth. So a lot of people obviously go to Zillow. Everybody knows about Zillow, but often, you'll hear both sides, right? They love the price or they hate the price because Zillow has a tough time deciding or determining what the true value is because maybe the owner put in some really nice upgrades, did some things to the backyard, those kind of things that sometimes Zillow really can't factor in. So we have a pricing tool on our website that our customers and our users are more than welcome to have at. And it's interesting because some people will even notice that we actually have a link directly to Zillow to get a Zestimate off of Redfin. And so people go, well, why would you want to do that? Isn't that your competition? No, not at all. We want our clients to be educated. So we know that they're going to go to Zillow anyways. So why make them open up a separate tab, go to Zillow? We just make it real easy. Go ahead and click Zillow, but then you're going to come right back. try our home pricing tool and compare the two. So it's all about education. It's all about bouncing the numbers around. And then, of course, once you kind of are ready to take that next step, then reach out to one of our listing specialists, because then you're really going to need some nitty and gritty details about the comparable sales in your market, in your neighborhood.
Yeah, because these online tools, there's things they just can't factor in.
Right.
Right? So they're always going to be a little bit of a guess. Now, they might turn out to be correct or close to correct, but that's just you can do that with a good guess. I mean, you could guess a team is going to win the World Series and get it right, but there may not be a science behind it. With regard to home values and demand for specific types of homes in particular, that can change a lot. So maybe use the tools as a way to kind of just get an idea, but then don't take the numbers that you get from those tools and use them as hard and fast, to go create calculations. Use that to give you some kind of range, but then work with a specialist to get those figured out.
Yeah,
So
you need someone to tell you how much it's worth with your upgrades, your view, your location in the neighborhood. And maybe there might be some negative aspects. Maybe there's a little bit of street noise and you don't know how to value that, because an online program is not going to be able to give you those numbers.
Yeah. Dale, from a mortgage side, I'm curious, is there something that home sellers should know to make sure that they do to their house in order to make them eligible for financing? Are there certain things that would cause lending problems with a property?
There's always things. I mean, if you have condition issues, roof issues, holes, broken windows, those sort of things are always going to cause a problem. But I don't think people who are selling their house that have those kind of condition problems are necessarily thinking financing. They're thinking probably, I need somebody to come over, take this house, buy it for me, buy it cash, buy it, with some sort of special financing. Traditional lenders are not all that tight on that kind of stuff. I mean, as long as your house is in pretty good condition, you can get it financed.
Okay. Yeah. So financing hasn't been an issue in that regard?
Well, one thing you want to take into consideration, you want to make sure that things are up to code. So there are things that an appraiser can call out and require it to be fixed, things such as having carbon monoxide detector in the home, so the appraiser doesn't have to go back out and
you save your client some money by doing that.
Yeah, make sure your water heater is strapped according to code. An appraiser will likely call that out. Make sure your furnace will turn on. Those types of things.
Yeah.
Well, there's also permit issues. I mean, you can run into too if you have with a conventional loan. If you have unpermitted bathrooms and bedrooms, they can back out the square footage, where FHA allows you to, if it's in a workmanlike manner. They don't require there necessarily be permits. So, it just depends on how the property itself. Most people, if they bought the property and there's unpermitted things in there, they're not going to. It takes a process to go to the county, get it all permitted.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people will just sell it as is. And if you're getting a conventional borrower, a lot of times that can pose a problem because they won't include that square footage in there.
Okay.
But with FHA, they will.
Okay. So that's a nice piece of information. If you've done work without being permits to the property, then no, that could become a problem. So you may want to look into that. Anything else, Cherie, you would have for tips for sellers coming into the hot time of the season here?
I think it's very important to make a strong debut going on to the market. With that first day that you're listed, your property will go out automatically to anybody who has a saved search, not just on Redfin, but on the local MLS. And that first 15 minutes that your home goes out is when your home is going to get seen the most.
And nothing is worse than getting that alert on your phone, pressing it, and
there's no
blank
pictures.
picture.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're going to forget to go back.
Right.
So you're losing all those buyers.
So professional photos, I would say, are one of the most important things that you can do for your home to help it sell for quicker and for more money. Staging comes into question. Your listing agent will recommend that if they think that your home does need staging. But the photos are what's going to really draw people into the property. Redfin also offers a 3D scan tour that no other agent in the whole United States has. What it is it's a virtual camera. It's kind of like Google Street View, where somebody can log into Redfin and they can go and virtually walk through the home. They can pan up at the ceiling, they can look down at the ground, turn around in circles, and walk through the whole house and give them a whole in-person experience. And what that does is anybody who's looking out of the area can see their home and really feel what that home is. And then it also saves the seller's time later, where if somebody doesn't think that it's the right floor plan for them, then they're really only making their home available to qualified buyers that know that they want to see the home in person.
Yeah, and I tell you, I've seen that technology, and I've seen the machine. It looks like something from the Jetsons. I've seen it at the Redfin offices. It's really, really cool. Coming up on Redfin Roundtable here on AM 760 KFMB with Mr. Credit, we'll be talking about why you might want to consider using Redfin.com and their brokerage to list your home for sale in this season. Right now, stick around. We'll continue to make you smarter than everyone else.